Hello and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. This is for July 19th, 2024, episode 233. Stand-up comedian, actor, and improviser Paul Green coming to you, documenting my journey as a performer and just in general what it takes to pursue a dream, whatever your dream may be. What dreams may come. So, let's do a little catch up on what has been going on since yesterday. So, yesterday, first of all, I had a photo shoot. That's right. Good old Paul Green sitting in front of the camera. I have not had new headshots for quite a while. I still pretty much look the same. that I did 5 or 6 years ago whenever I last had headshots. And, I still get, plenty of commercial auditions, and I've booked commercial auditions based off of the headshots I've always had. And I haven't had an agent be like, we need to update your headshots. But I just figured, hey, maybe it's a good time to try to get some new photography. So I went and got my photo shoot on. After that, I went over to my comedy partner, the one and only Josh Novi, and we did a bunch of promo videos with our awesome social media manager, who is fantastic and is just helping us build a brand, helping us build a social media following, giving us ideas, letting us know what trends are going on social media. And we just had so much fun. Now, if you follow the podcast, you know that 2 days ago, we posted an ad for one of our upcoming shows, and we had a very delightful troller just leave a really, was it nasty? Nasty's too strong of a word. He wasn't being nasty. He was just being self-righteous, magnanimous, and, I don't know, obnoxious. I say magnanimous sarcastically in case that wasn't clear. And, and anyway, so he just sees this ad. He sees this little clip from one of our shows where we just make a joke, and he just didn't get it and thought that we were doing something else, thought that we had some intense political agenda and that we were intentionally trying to appeal our comedy or make our comedy appeal to a certain demographic of a certain ideology. I don't want to get into specifics because I'm so disgusted at the political climate that I feel anything that I potentially say or do that even hints at the political climate is just not helping anything, and quite frankly, just not what I'm at all interested in doing. So anyway, he said something, and it was just the most just the stupidity of it all. So anyway, I made the poor decision to actually respond to him because, as you may know, anytime somebody leaves a comment on a Facebook video or post of yours, and then you reply, what happens is a very effective back and forth dialogue where both parties realize that maybe they were both wrong. Sorry, that's also sarcasm. Yes, that did not happen. So, anywho, so what we did instead is we got together and we made a number of videos, but on one video we just did a video specifically to our friend, our little trolling friend, like talking to him. I don't know if we are going to actually post it or not, because obviously we were engaging in a tremendous amount of supercilious reference and satirical mockery of our good friend online. Now, it was very cathartic for me, but whether that makes it online or not, we'll have to see. I don't know if that's part of our brand, but anyway, it's just so much fun getting to hang out with Josh, and we just riff on stuff. We just improvise stuff. We made up a song on the spot, which was actually a really fun song, just about stuff that we were talking about how people always think the grass is greener on the other side, but it's really full of crap, was Josh's lyric, which I just thought was really funny. Because, crap works as fertilizer and actually makes the grass greener. And I just thought that was a very potent analogy. So I had so much fun hanging out with Josh and our social media manager. I never say her name because I don't know if she wants to be talked about. I protect her anonymity. Anyway, she's amazing. She has done so much great work, and I am just having so much fun working with Josh and building this show brand from the ground up. So after doing that, got my gym on, and then I had 2 shows at my hometown club, the one and only JP's Comedy Club. And, I did 2 shows, a 7 o'clock and a 9 o'clock. The 7 o'clock was really weird. It was a weird vibe. I had a real hard time getting the audience engaged with my act. I also think because I sensed their low energy, I also came on with a low energy. And I think that was a bad move. I don't think that I helped myself. I think I should have done the opposite and come in big. But, it went okay, but it definitely was not the best performance that I've had in a while. So then, at the 9 p.m. show, something really remarkable happened. So the 7 p.m. was sold out. And as I said, I really struggled. I don't think I had a good set at the 7 p.m. The 9 p.m. show, we ended up having 10 people in the audience. So we went from having like 100 people to 10 people. And there was even, I think, a little bit of discussion that the show might have even gotten canceled, because at one point there was only like 4 or 6 people. I was thinking maybe they would cancel it, but they didn't, and they kept it going. And then by the time the show actually started, we had 10 people in this audience. So the whole thing felt vacant. Those 10 people ended up being the best crowd. They were unbelievably fun, and they were laughing loud, and they were engaged, and it was so interesting, and every comic killed. It was unbelievable, because it is so hard to make that few of people laugh. It really is. It's the more people in the room, the easier it gets. It's, when there's that few people, people have a tendency typically to be a lot more self-conscious. You can hear everything. You can hear every noise. There's no like sort of general audience noise to sort of like hide your side conversations or to hide, little whatever. It's a very intimate environment. And again, these audience members were so fun. And by the time I got on stage, every comic before me killed, but by the time I got on stage, I was so ready to have the most fun that I could possibly have with these 10 people. And they were just a blast, an absolute blast. So it was just so cool. And I got a huge compliment from the headliner, who is a hilarious comic who I've actually known. I met him a couple years ago, and he's been blowing up. He's really been working hard, and he told me after the show that, because he went on right after me, that he did not want to follow me. And there are few compliments that are more, how do I word this? It's one of the highest compliments that you can pay a comic, which is like, man, I do not want to follow you. And by the way, I know that feeling because I remember about 3 years ago, I was headlining JP's when I was way rusty and just coming out of the pandemic. I hadn't been doing as much comedy, but I booked this stand-up gig, and I really struggled one of the nights. And the comic right before me was so funny. Matter of fact, that same comic was on the show tonight with me. He was so funny, and he went on and he killed one night. And then I got on, and I didn't get a laugh for about 2 or 3 minutes. They were not into my act whatsoever. It was brutal. I literally thought the owner was gonna fire me, and like fire me and put that comic as the headliner and put me as the feature act the next night, because I thought I did that badly. Luckily, that didn't happen, and I was able to redeem myself the next night. And the only reason I was able to redeem myself is I completely abandoned my act. I went on stage and I improvised my entire act 100%. I just went in and just interacted with the crowd. I just did crowd interaction and then just sort of popped off the top of my head whatever sort of jokes I thought of, and then just met a lot of the audience, and then I did my token improvising a song at the end. And that saved me. And it was a big eye-opener for me, just in terms of where I was at comedically and artistically, and I just started to realize, like, yes, I need to really get my act together. So anyway, so when I did that set and then got off stage, and then after the show, the headliner let me know that he didn't want to follow me after entertaining those 10 people. But I just had so much fun. So then after the show, I hopped in my car and then I drove to Blythe, California, and that's where I reside currently. And I am en route to go to Los Angeles for a day. I've got a show in Los Angeles and a cool networking meeting with my agents in LA at the beach. So they're throwing like a big agency beach party. So that'll be fun. It'll be fun to head out to that, get some schmooze with some agents and with some fellow actors at that agency. So very much looking forward to that. So, all right, I'm going to keep this update a little short because I went so long yesterday, but I am also going to continue on talking about the 48 Laws of Power, and how I either disagree with the laws or at least find the laws despicable. So, today's law is something along the lines of use your disappearance to create, what was it? Honor and respect? Was it honor and respect? Something like that. Again, just reiterating this idea that, I don't know why I said again. I'm talking about it for the first time. So this idea is just iterating the point that if you remove yourself from certain situations, especially situations that maybe perhaps has the perception of being desirable, but you can just step away and be like, yeah. It's the whole distance makes the heart grow fonder argument. I guess. What do I really feel about this? I don't think I totally disagree, because there is such a thing as removing your presence from maybe somebody in an effort to create a little bit of mystery, create a little bit of tension, so that maybe that person will then seek you out and maybe respect you all the more for just stepping away. It's hard for me to think of this outside of a dating context, and there's the whole you have to play hard to get, which I don't actually think is true, but I do think there is something to be said for, let's say I'm pursuing a woman and maybe she, I can tell that she's losing interest or whatever. My old tendency would be to then like work harder and try harder and be even more, assertive in trying to, schedule a date or whatever. Now, what I found is not only is that strategy incredibly ineffective, it also stems from a deeper insecurity of, oh no, if I get turned down, then that means that I'm not enough and all of that stuff, right? So I didn't really have that. I did not have that muscle developed. I'm doing better. Let's put it that way. As of the last couple of years, I started to like really look at my behavior and how I was approaching situations. And, I do agree that I do think that there is a little bit of power in just being able to walk away from a situation. Again, I keep using dating. This isn't really a dating podcast, but it's the best metaphor for life or not really a metaphor, but I think the best example of how this principle may actually be an effective principle, which ultimately is the pursue. But if, the feedback you're getting is that maybe the interest is not reciprocated, then I say, yeah, just stepping away and removing your effort will potentially do one of two things. Either she may realize, oh, I miss the attention I was getting, maybe I'll reach out. By the way, in my experience, that does not happen very often. The other option is maybe if they had lost interest and you remove your attention, they may actually appreciate that. Because then they'll be like, oh, they got the hint. Yeah, there is something to this law. I don't feel as critical of this particular law out of the 48. Because I don't necessarily think this is violent. I don't think that it's aggressive. I don't think that it's you may consider it manipulation if your heart is in a place to where you actually are trying to trick another human being into liking you more than they really do. Not a fan of that, but I do think that there is a appropriate mindset and how do I word this? I don't think it is necessarily manipulative to just remove your presence from somebody, who clearly is not valuing it. If that is indeed the reason why you remove your attention. Now, if it's just to play some sort of game or to manipulate somebody, then yeah, maybe not a fan of that. So, but the principle in and of itself, or that law, I do think holds some merit. If things aren't going how you want them to do, or you really just want to demonstrate that you are a person who does not need another person, or does not need that job, or does not need that opportunity, that you are perfectly willing, if the circumstance calls for it, to just remove your attention and just say, cool. If you ain't into me, then I ain't sticking around, and I'll find someone who is. You know what I mean? So I do think there is some validity to this law. I do ask that you do not exercise this law when it comes to listening to the Paul Green Comedy Podcast. Please do not make yourself absent. I respect and honor you for listening a heck of a lot more than I do for not listening. All right, everybody, that is the update. I got to get me some sleep. I will be driving to LA tomorrow, or by the time this gets released later today. And I will check in with you tomorrow. Yeah, so I have my little beach party agency meeting, and then I have a show. So I will be performing tonight as well. So I will let you all know how that goes tomorrow. And keep pursuing those dreams, everybody. I hope they're going well, and that you are finding joy and fulfillment on your journey. This is the Paul Green Comedy Podcast for July 19th, 2024, episode 233. I love you all so much. I hope you're doing well, and I will check in with you tomorrow.